Ishkaran Bhandari, as always, now a study done by a think tank in the UK is also saffronized. That's the explanation Mr. Majid Haidri has. How predictable is that?
Now, because there are three things said in the study. Hindus are a minority, Hindus are peaceful, and Hindus are well-adjusted is the reason they suffer the most. Globally, Hindus are a minority. We have to accept that reality. When we were a minority in Kashmir, they were thrown out. The same agenda is being carried now, unfortunately, overseas. But the bigger problem is not only in the Western world. See Bollywood, how they would depict Hindu god and goddesses versus how they would depict any other religion. They won't dare to do 1/100th of the mockery or humor they do to Hindu gods and goddesses that they do to any other religion. That's a fact. The second aspect which we need to understand very well, the casual racism. When somebody like Raghuram Rajan casually says Hindu rate of growth to depict a slowing rate of economy made by socialists and the Congress era. So that casual racism is not allowed against any other religion or any other color, caste and creed. But for Hinduism, this casual racism comes if you link economy with the Hindu rate of growth and the economy was struggling. Today it is Hindutva rate of growth. Today we have become the fifth largest economy. Do they say Hindu policies have made it the best economy? They will not. So this casual racism mixed with the inherent nature of Hindus to be peaceful and well-adjusted, along with the fact that we are a minority, is the problem. I thank this organization, I thank Ms. Littlewood, that at least now data is coming out on this, which was well known to everybody. Hopefully now with this data, further action, so this evil of Hindu phobia ends in this country and this world.
Well, Lokesh Jindal, the mild racism today gives rise to Hindu phobia. Does the Congress have any cross that it carries in its heart?
Well, we have had certain Englishmen, women, embracing Hinduism in the past. We had Annie Besant, we had Madam Blavatsky, some of the prominent people who embraced Hinduism. So I would not buy this argument that there is any form of a Hindu phobia that's too much predominant in the Western countries.
You're talking
about Annie Besant.
When are you talking about? Which year, sir? And which year are we in? Which century?
Yes, I understand. 100 years ago, when things were not so radical. I mean, right now, if you say that in England, all over, there is some form of a Hindu phobia, it's something which is difficult to digest. If there are instances in Leicester, as has been reported by Charlotte, so in that case, as a global citizen, there's an appeal to the UK government to lay down guidelines to make sure that laws are in place to ensure that as citizens of UK who are there, their right to religion, their liberty, their right to citizens of England, they are all safeguarded. They are enjoying their social, cultural, political and other civil rights. And the state must ensure that all such untoward incidents are prevented and prohibited. India is a secular nation. We cannot come out and claim that we are champions of Hinduism or some form of religious ideology.
But when Charlie Hebdo happened, when the cartoons happened, there were marches here. Do you remember Ishkaran Bhandari? Ishkaran Bhandari, because it was against one community, they could have, a lot of marches over here. But if Hindus are targeted, well, they will only appeal to the UK government, and after that, they'll go back to sleep. That's the secularism practiced by the Congress party, Ishkaran.
That is why when this debate started, I said the problem in United Kingdom is worrying. But the genesis of that problem is in India, where people like Lokesh Jindal are busy whitewashing the facts. Where Bollywood, the soft power...
Ishkaran, what do you expect? Declare war on UK?
1 second, don't interrupt me.
What do you want? You want to file an FIR here in India?
Please don't interrupt me. I made a point.
In India.
Everything. Can I answer that? Please don't interrupt me. Please don't interrupt me. It's about Hindu rights. Once in a while, please, that people who bother about those rights speak up. Thank you. Navika ji, the reality is that's why it started by Bollywood, which has to sell its movie to the Middle East, to the entire global audience, where the Sanatan Dharam is the minority. So what you see, how they display the movies PK, how they display, how they joke, how they mock across their movies is one part of it. The other part is the intelligentsia. How, as I gave one example of Hindu rate of growth, there are multiple other examples, including jibes at cow urine, this and that. The jibes they will never dare to take at some other religion. Then from there, when we go globally, because we are basically in India, one country, We are a minority, and that is exploited because of a vote bank politics, plus a brotherhood which across nation states we are a brotherhood. So Hindus become a target because then they become those people who worship false gods as per these people.
Well,
so there's combination.
You're absolutely right, Ishkaran Bhandari. But let me get in Charlotte Littlewood for one last time. And Charlotte Littlewood, a question has been raised by a panelist here who says maybe the Henry Jackson fellow, you're representing the Henry Jackson Society, and he says that maybe you have links with the present government in India, and therefore you're a little bit of saffronized, and saffron is the color that is used for Hindu supporters in India.
Right.
How would you respond to this charge that has been made that Henry Jackson Institute is something to do with the friendship with the Indian present government and their right-leaning Hindu thinking outlook?
I mean, that's very bizarre, really, isn't it? We're an independent think tank that works on a cross-section of issues. We were doing stuff on the KBG and Russia just yesterday, a book launch. We heavily look at the rise of China's security threats. Just last week, I was talking about TikTok and China. Yes, but we get these things thrown at us, especially when we look at extremism within the Islamist community, like the Islamist extremist section of the Muslim community. We get those kind of accusations. But I do find it curious because this report isn't even looking at that. This report is looking at anti-Hindu hate. It mentions hate that's coming from Christian pupils. It mentions prejudice that's being created by teachers in schools, and it mentions prejudice that's coming from Muslim peers as well. So for this report, it's even more bizarre that it should be considered connected to the Indian government.
Well, very well said. And Majid Haidari, I do hope you would note this, because very often when real facts come out, the best you can do, my friend, is to question the study itself.